Hey guys, my Zastava come in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to compare the Zastava to my Century BFT47. So without further ado, let's take a look. Okay, comes with your owner's manual. What's this? This is probably my receipt. Oh, that's my Pennsylvania State Police approval. Comes with one Magpul. Comes with these, I think these are Picatinny rails. I have to see where they attach to. It doesn't come with that. I just used that to open. There was a lot of oil on it. You can see there's still some oil on it. We have the Archangel adjustable stock. The bolt is semi-polished. We're going to polish that bolt up a little bit more. Okay, the stock's nice. Cheek piece goes up and down. There's a little trap door here. That's rubber. I believe that pops out. Yeah, that pops out. That's your magazine release right there. Here, we'll turn it over the other way. I know that slides. We'll do detailed video for you guys. This is just a go over. It's your safe fire. That's a stopper for the safe fire selector. This is put together in Des Plaines, Illinois. From what I understand, the parts are shipped to this country. The parts are made in Serbia. But they're shipped here and it's put together here. Has the, this is the zpap m70 hogue. This is the hogue grip right here. This is rubber. It's like a real sticky rubber. Cleaning rod. This is a two-position choke, or not a choke, a muzzle compensator. Let's see. Has iron sights, same as on the Century. Has the this is 1.5 millimeter thick receiver. It's a stamped receiver. And we have a bulge trunnion on both sides. Made in Serbia. Has the rail here. So it says made in Serbia here. Now we'll flip her over again. And that's where it's put together. Okay, now the yeah, see the stock is 3-position. Here, let me see how this fits me. That actually fits me pretty good. With it extended all the way out. Yeah, I like the stock extended the whole way out. And the cheek piece, you press this button in here and the cheek piece moves. think I like it the whole way out as well, guys. Alright, let's check that little trap door out here. I mean, we can put it in there, you know. Now, the way this dust cover comes off is there's a button here. See that button right there? Press that button in while you're depressing this button back here. There. Then cover comes right off. Cover comes off very easy once that's done. Now, press it in again. The recoil spring comes out. We'll take the bolt out. Now inside here, the hammer spring is wire wound. It's the original wire wound. I don't know if you guys can see the feed ramp on the barrel. So take a good look at the feed ramp on the barrel there if you can make it out. This is 7.9 pounds, where the Century is 7.5 pounds. This lever here is also hard to get off. That's going to have to be taken off with a pair of pliers, and I can look at my gas tube. Okay, now, you know, there's a bulge trunnion on both sides. Okay, 2 rivets down here, a rivet on that trunnion, 2 rivets below it, 2 rivets here, 2 rivets below that trunnion, and 1 on a trunnion. Okay, now we're going to set this down. Now we're going to take a look at the Century. I'm leaving the bolt carrier out because I want to compare them. I set them both side by side. First, let's look at the Century. The top of the barrel. Now the Zastava has the adjustable muzzle compensator. It can go on the left and right. It's a little loose. I modified mine. Mine's a little loose also. Mine can go left or right also. They both have cleaning rods. Look how this is shaped there. This is a little bit more angled. This is smoother. This has ports in a gas tube. This one, the Zastava, doesn't have ports. Forearms. The gas tube chamber release lever. Now I polished my bolt. We're going to get that one the same way. The Century has a stop. Has a stop down there, but the safety doesn't really go down that far. The Century has 2 places where you could operate the safety, where the Zastava only has 1. Okay, that's safe, that's fire. Now, the Zastava is a shorter throw for the safety. Okay, that's only about, I'd say maybe an inch, where the Century is probably maybe 1.5 inches. They're both about the same tension. The Zastava has a bigger pistol grip, and naturally the Archangel stock is nice because it's extendable. For someone that's tall like me, this fits me. And the dust cover comes off a heck of a lot easier than the Century. It doesn't really matter. Now, as for the rivets, they're both, the receivers, both of them are 1.5 millimeter thick stamped receivers. Okay, the Century has 2 rivets here. The Zastava has them down here. Has a rivet there. That has a rivet about in the same place. This has rivets on the trunnions. This has one on the trunnion and one below it. And the other side is exactly the same for both of these sporting rifles. Now let's take the bolt out. Okay. Now the recoil springs, the inner mechanism's the same. It has those 2 long U-bolts. Okay, that's what the bottom looks like. This is the Century. They're both almost nearly identical. This is the Zastava, that's the Century. Dust covers. Okay, now let's look at the bolts. Now the bottom slide, we're gonna smooth this out a little bit. I'm not gonna eliminate these ridges altogether, guys, because they're there for a reason. We're gonna just smooth them out a little bit, and we're gonna polish this bolt like we polished the Centuries. Okay, so you see the bottom, I call this the ride. This is what rides over the hammer. Okay, this is more sloped. The fronts are about the same on both. The less shiny one is the Zastava. Now we have to put some of that red grease in this guy here. Now this part of the gas tube, I guess you can call this the piston. This feels a little loose on the Zastava. The Centuries isn't loose whatsoever. Okay, let's take a look at the inside of our hammer. We're going to have to smooth down the top of that hammer. The Century's is rounded more. There's no step on it. Now you can see the inside of the barrel where that little feed ramp is. The little grate on the inside of the barrel. Take a look at the Zastava. It has no grade. The top of the sights on the Zastava are pronounced more. Or on the Century, they're darker. What I like about the Century is this big magazine release. It is a lot easier than the smaller one. I wish the Zastava had that on there too. Okay, now we're going to put them back together and we're going to test the triggers. I'm going to take this dust cover off again, and I want you guys to see how easy it is to put it back on the Zastava. Push the button in, push that down, cover comes off. Now when you want to take the recoil spring out, you press that button down, make sure it's pressed down, and it comes out. To put it back in, make sure that your back of your recoil spring, the big button, is pressed in a little bit. You have to press that side button in to have cock that in, or your dust cover won't go on. And then all you do, you just put your dust cover in here. There's no hitting it down. Then you just press this little button on the side, pops it back in, it's on. It is a little easier. I like that. Now, this isn't, I didn't polish this yet. We're going to polish this to a mirror finish like I did with the Century. The action seems like it's smooth. Let's test this trigger. That's pretty smooth. Try it one more time. Okay. Now, let's put the, look how nice I got that, guys. I didn't do the bottom, but I did the lever. I did the piston, this part here, the back, and I also did the part of the bolt that slides in the bolt carrier. Make sure you guys put your bolts in correctly. Okay. Put it back in its little house. Now what I do is I line it up in the back here first. And then I press the button in. At the same time I'm feeding in the top of the slide cover into that groove. And when I put it down, I gave it a little smack and she's in. One more time, hold on. Now the Century has seems like I forget what they call this trigger. The trigger's, it's an improved trigger. I forget what, it has a real funny name to it, but this is a two-step trigger. You push it, and then you can feel it has a step to it, and then it has a good trigger also. Now, since I polished the ramp on the bottom of the housing, this is a lot better than what it was when it was stock. That's a set. Now the Zastava, as it stands right now, the Century's action is smoother than the Zastava. Now once I smooth that ramp on the bottom of the bolt and I polish the bolt, this will probably be better than this action will be better than the Century's. This doesn't have the two-step like the Century does. So I'd have to say the triggers, it depends what if you like. If you're a fan of the two-step trigger, the Century's better. The triggers are on both of these are about the same. Now, what separates the Century is the magazine release, guys. Okay, this is a Magpul mag. Now, my thumb, probably half of my thumb, is getting on the tang. The tang is I wish I could file the edge down a little bit, but if I do, I'm going to have to refinish it. The tang on the Zastava is a little sharp. I wish they could make that a little bit bigger. That would have been nice. Now the Century, as you see, the Century has hands down for the magazine release. Okay. The Century BFT47 is for the magazine release, man. You can't beat it. You cannot beat it. It's pretty hard to beat. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. Let me do that once more. See, what bothers me is the bottom of that magazine release is it's a little the edges are a little sharp. You know, if I could at least file that down a little bit, if I could at least sand that down a little, otherwise it is a little cumbersome, I have to admit that. It'd be nice if I could put a Century's BFT magazine release on this. That would be nice. I might be able to buy one. I'm gonna have to see if I can get that part. If I can get one, I'm gonna modify it to go on this rifle. Now, what makes this nice is the stock, okay, and the Hogue 4-in grip. That's what makes this nice. Now we're going to work on this, guys. We're going to work on the bolt housing. We're going to make this just like that one there. We're going to smooth the bottom out. I'm going to do that tonight, and we're going to polish this to a mirror finish. So there you go. This was sitting in the store since May 4th. They never bothered to call me. They never sent me an email. They claimed they sent me an email, but they didn't send me no email. They didn't call me to tell me it was in. I think they were shining me on, basically. Why, I have no idea. I don't know why they're shining me on. Now, you know what? The Zastava does have 2 gas release ports on that side, and there's also 2 on the other side there too. The top's plastic. I think they said, I think it's carbon fiber if I'm not mistaken. The bottom is rubber. This is rubber back here. What's nice is this, guys. That's what's nice. And the cheek, and when the cheek goes up a little bit, it does make it pretty comfortable, I have to admit that. Now, the opening on the rear sight, I want to see if that's a little bit bigger than the Century's. It looks like it's a little bit bigger. I think it is, yeah. The opening on the Century, might be maybe a millimeter, maybe even a little less than a millimeter, where the opening on the Zastava rear sight is maybe 1.5 millimeters, maybe, yeah, probably about 1.5 millimeters. It is larger, and it's easier for me to line the sights up. It is a lot easier. So the sights on, I just noticed that the sights on the Zastava are better. So yeah, it's a beautiful day out here, as you see, guys, but I don't have time to get on a bike. I may not have time till Mother's Day to get on a bike, because it's supposed to rain here tomorrow. Now I have to take my husky for a walk either tomorrow or Saturday. That dog comes before the bike. So y'all are gonna have to sit on your hands and wait, because, you know, I told you how bad it is around here with all these reckless drivers in the Pittsburgh area. I only go out at certain times. So take it easy.